Today on BCIT Magazine, Americans remember the horrors of 9/11.
The attack changed airport security forever. We'll see how travelers are coping today.
And BC teachers and the provincial government are still at loggerheads. Hello and welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Connor Hammond.
And I'm Carmen Wells.
We begin the show today with some breaking news. A fire tore through a home in East Vancouver late Wednesday night. The 5 residents were awoken by a neighbor pounding at their door. A stove standing alone is all that remains at the back of a house ravaged by flames. 5 adults were sleeping in the house at the time and all managed to escape unharmed. But it might have been a very different story had neighbor Chris Parfit not been there.
For my place, all I seen was flames. By the time I got here, it was very hot. So me and another guy, we went and opened their front window and yelled at him, tell him, get out of your house is on fire. And then we started pulling them through the window.
A fire investigation is underway, but there are no further details at this time.
The United States is still picking up the pieces after the attack on the World Trade Center. Matthew Van Deventer spent the 10th anniversary of 9/11 in Seattle trying to make sense of the American psyche.
Should have been a beautiful sunny day in the Emerald City was tainted by the memory of September 11th. Memorials like this one at the International Fountain popped up all across the city. Flowers and personal messages lay on the ground to commemorate the last 10 years. People would pass, pause, and remember a memory that seemed like a nightmare. But through the chaos and calamity came a nation looking for clarity. A group of 9/11 truthers were not far away, and they were encouraging people to question their government.
So today we've got an assortment of literature and DVDs and material to hand out. We're trying to get a lot of people more aware of what's going on in our country. We have less liberties. Our constitutional republic is being eroded by what's happening since 9/11.
Across the park there was a small tranquil festival promoting love and unity.
We are gathered here today to celebrate oneness, coming from a space of maybe in the past, fear and anger when September 11th comes around, to a space of love and acceptance.
Guest speakers were invited to share memories of the fateful day and emotionally open up to an intimate crowd.
I remember the moment the first tower collapsed. I remember that people didn't even realize it had come down. They were watching it in the news. But we knew. We knew that it was a catastrophic loss of life.
The final memorial of the day took place at Alki Beach in West Seattle. Every year, people have been gathering at the foot of a Statue of Liberty to sing songs and light candles.
Please come see.
People like Clay Eels proudly show off letters and trinkets left here 10 years ago.
These are the items that were left at the base of Lady Liberty. Others wrote messages on the spot when they were here, and some of those messages are on the paper bags that the votive candles were in.
Messages of strength and forgiveness from people all wanting the same thing: truth, peace, and comfort. Matthew Van Deventer in Seattle for BCIT Magazine.
Sunday marked the 10-year anniversary of 9/11. The tragedy left in its wake plenty of security changes. To find out how these changes are affecting travelers a decade later, I headed out to YVR. Monday morning at YVR, people crowded the checkout counter as staff dealt with a high volume of travelers. Since 9/11, items as innocent as nail clippers have been relegated to checked baggage. But as these bags fly down the conveyor belt, do these travelers still have security concerns before embarking using this mode of transportation?
The screening right off the bat, I think, like security going through, checking in and stuff like that, I would say it's pretty big because they can find the stuff right there.
We're not all suspects, put it that way. Sometimes you travel through USA, you feel like you're guilty already, you know, and that's where they act. You're guilty until proven innocent.
Check the baggages properly. I think the security is fine now. After 9/11, I think it has improved a lot.
10 years ago, Director of Communications Rebecca Catley saw the security revision as a necessity.
Well, obviously the world changed. That's the bottom line. And the Canadian Air Transport Security Authority, CATSA, which are the folks who actually screen you, both your bags and your person as you go through the security checkpoints, that was born out of 9/11.
However, it's not just one security company that's running the show at YVR.
It's a multi-layered approach to security, and it's not just what you see, it's what you don't see.
Though the security approach is viewed as efficient by some travelers, 10 years after its inception, there are still those who question it. Connor Hammond in Richmond for BCIT Magazine.
It captured the attention of Canadians across the country. Little Keenan Hebert kidnapped from his home in Sparwood, BC. To give us a quick recap, we're joined by our reporter Braden Oates. Braden, what's the latest?
Thanks, Carmen. It was the top story every day over the past week, starting with the return of 3-year-old Keenan Hebert on Sunday morning and the arrest of Hopley on Tuesday. Randall Hopley is currently being held for kidnapping and child abduction charges and made his first court appearance on Wednesday. Hopley will be put through a psychiatric assessment to determine whether he is fit to stand trial. The suspect was arrested near the BC-Alberta border, hiding near an abandoned cabin. His next court date is November 9th for a bail hearing.
Thanks for that, Braden. BC teachers are on strike, and the provincial government says it's not optimistic a deal is close. Some parents are worried the situation could have an impact on their kids and the education they receive. Martin McMahon reports.
Back to school is supposed to be a fresh start, but with teachers carrying out a strike as negotiations with the provincial government stall, things are looking anything but optimistic that a deal is close.
The bargaining is ongoing, but I can't say that much progress has been made since the start of school. I'm hoping that this phase of our job action, a teach-only phase, will impress upon government the need to revise its mandate and come to the table with something to offer.
Under phase 1 of the strike, teachers are refusing to issue report cards, hold parent-teacher meetings, or carry out certain administrative tasks. Parents at Laura Secord Elementary School hope the labor dispute can be resolved sooner rather than later.
There's always a concern because the people that get impacted the most are our kids, right? So hopefully they can come to a resolution, but if you look at past history, it often tends to be drawn out.
Oh, I fully expect them to go on to phase 2, and I'll deal with that situation when it happens.
I kind of would like things to just go smooth because they just finished their seismic upgrade and they just moved back into the new school, and we've been in portable for a year and a half. And I think it would be good at the beginning of the year that you have things go smoothly.
I'm not going to get into worrying. Just going to take it one day at a time.
A Ministry of Education spokesperson wasn't available for comment, but Minister of Education George Abbott said recently that bargaining with teachers has been unproductive to date. As for the teachers' union, they have yet to define what phase 2 of the strike would entail or provide a timeline for when that phase would come into place. Martin McMahon for BCIT Magazine.
Jack Layton's old job has kicked off.
And superheroes take a plunge for a good cause.